Alright, so in this section we're going to go over the principles of UDIM and UV tiling, which are the same principle. They're just described that their syntax is a little different, and I'll show you what I mean in just a second. First, let's just go over the idea of UDIM and UV tile in general. So right now I just have this image UV'd to my geometry here, which is just a plane with one division. And if I flip over to my UV editor, you'll see that both of my polygons are sitting in the bounds of the default UV coordinate space. And so therefore we're getting our usual tiling pattern that we are used to with UVs. But let's say I wanted to just set up one shader and have two different images appear on these two different polygons. Or in the case of a production scenario, it might be different parts of a model you'd like to load different textures for. Well, so UDIM and UV tile allow me to do that. And what we've got to do is imagine that we have our standard UV coordinate space, but also I can reference a tile this same size directly next to it in this UV space. So let's take a look at an image really quickly. So let's imagine in this space we have a grid that looks like this, and right now our standard UV space is this tile down here on the bottom left. So let's say if I put polygons in this tile, it's going to show up as one image. And if I put polygons in the tile adjacent to it, to the right, it's going to receive a different image. So let's go ahead and try that. I'm just going to go ahead and select my polygon on the left, which you can see is now selected. And I'm just going to move it over to the right by one unit on the U plane, coordinate plane, on the U axis. So now I have my first polygon in the standard UV space, and my second polygon is moved over to the right or along U by 1. So respectively, if we're looking at this UDIM graph, we've got tile 1001 and tile 1002. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to my render view and hit play and see what happens. Now we're going to see that my second tile is grabbing a different image texture. And that's because in my texture, I have this token for UDIM. And what that means is it's going to say, okay, I'm going to look for an image called cat, and then I'm going to look for the UV coordinate space that correlates with where my tiles are in this coordinate space. And all we have to do is make sure that our images reflect that. So I have this image that's cat.1001 to correlate with this UDIM coordinate tile, and I have one called cat.1002 to correlate with this coordinate tile. So anytime polygons show up in the 1001 region, they will have the 1001 image on them. And when they show up in the 1002 region, they will have the 1002 image on them. And as we can see, that's exactly what's happening. And this will get really useful when you need to set up a shader or a group of shaders that are all similar. So for example, if you had 10 metal textures on, I don't know, let's say a helicopter, and you needed to, split that across a bunch of different images, let's say some with decals and some with panels that look like wings or rotors or whatever, And you want to set up only a few simple shaders and vary your images over the model rather than setting up like 100 shaders or something like that. This is the way that you would do that. Now UV tile is very similar to UDIM. It's just that the way that you look up those tiles is a little bit different. We still use a token to select different images, and that token is UV tile. You'll see if I plug this in, we'll have the same result. The main difference is that you reference the U and V coordinates rather than a tile number. Now it's important to note that these coordinates will always reference the top right section of a tile. So for example, the top right section of this tile would be U1, V1. So you can see we have U1, V1. And the top right section of this tile would be U2, V1. So that's just a shorthand for describing which tile to use rather than a tile number. And this is just going to vary depending on the software package that you're painting or generating your maps for your model from. To set this up, well, ideally this would actually already be set up through whatever 3D package generated your model. But if you needed to set it up yourself, you would simply select the polygons that you want for one image, or for a second or third image, and simply move those polygons to the proper UDIM tile coordinate. So we've moved this section over to UDIM tile 1002. So let's go ahead and move back to our scene here and take a look at what happens. So you can see here that on all the polygons that are in the UDIM tile 1001 are showing the image for 1001, and the polygons that were selected and moved to the coordinate space for tile 1002 are showing their respective image. And this is all done through just the one material. Alright, well thanks for checking out the UDIM UV tile section, and we'll see you in the next one.